הניסים ועל הברכן ועל הגבורות ועל התשועות ועל הנפלאות, על הניסים ועל הברכן ועל הגבורות ועל התשועות ועל הנפלאות שעשית לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה, בזמן הזה שעשית לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה.
Welcome to Jewish Life, a program presented in cooperation with the Jewish Community Relations Council of New York. I'm your host, Stewart Ain. Every week we present programs of particular interest to the Jewish community. Today I'd like to welcome back Mordechai Kedar. He's been on our program several times, and remember, he is a specialist in Arab culture. He's a lecturer at Bar-Ilan University, and he's also vice president of Newsreel. Welcome. Good to see you again. And
Great
by the way,
to be here. Chodesh Tov, Stewart.
how are you? Good to see you. Boker Tov. You're in Ra'anana, outside of Tel Aviv, and all heck is breaking loose in Israel as we talk. As you may have heard, the Israeli Knesset voted to annex the West Bank, and now President Trump of the United States is saying he will not allow that to happen. Vance, the vice president, J.D. Vance, is saying it's a stupid political stunt. What do you agree with Vance, or how do you see this?
Look, first of all, it's not annexation. It is implementing the Israeli law, because annexation needs an agreement between two states, and there is no state to agree with about the Judea and Samaria, and therefore declarations of annexing are not enough, or are irrelevant in this case. What Israel can do is implement the Israeli law on Judea and Samaria, especially on the parts which are not under the rulership of the Palestinian Authority. We'll see the sea areas. This is possible, and actually it is already working for many years, because on the Jewish, what people call settlements, the Jewish communities in Judea and Samaria, all the Israeli laws are implemented. Income tax and penal law, everything. So it is not real change from the current situation. The real change will come when the Palestinian Emirate plan, which I am talking about for 25 years at least, will be implemented. The PA will be dissolved, and rural areas will be annexed to Israel, will be under Israeli law. This is the big difference, but so far it doesn't happen yet.
So when President Trump talks about the vote of the Knesset, he's misinformed?
It's a misconception, because the real concept is only implementing the Israeli law in order to have the place under certain law. It's nothing connected to annexation, because annexation is totally different procedure and is being done only by agreement between countries, between states.
Right.
And it needs the approval of the Security Council of the United Nations, and definitely this is not what we are talking about.
Exactly. So I guess somebody has to speak to the White House and explain what's going on, I guess. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But the president certainly did come in and got a ceasefire, and we finally freed the hostages. All 20 hostages are live hostages, and is working to get those who died in captivity also returned. And I guess that's a remarkable achievement.
No doubt, but as long as the Hamas do not adhere to the agreement and give us the rest of the people who are not alive anymore, the agreement is breached. And, and now the question is, what can be done? What should we resume the war? I don't think it will happen because President Trump, I think, lost his support to the war, and this is what underlies what happened in the last weeks in this 20-point agreement, which is not peace agreement. This is a ceasefire agreement, no more. Uh, and but look, I think that this ceasefire agreement, which includes also the beginning of reconstruction of Gaza, this will not happen because Stuart, there is a rule in organizational sociology which says that the more parties take part in a project, the less are the chances that this project will come to fruition. Let's say if you are in charge of a project and you are alone, you have the money, you have everything, so the chance that the project will be accomplished is 100% because you do it by yourself, you sponsor it, nobody interferes, and you finish it because you want to finish it. If there are two people, it means that if one starts to make business here or make problems, the project will not be accomplished. So you have like 50% because each and every man has the veto. If you have three partners, the chance that it will be, come to fruition is less because now everyone can break and torpedo the project, and you have three options. So statistically, it's 1 to 3, the project. So if you have 8 or 9 or 10, the chances that the project will be successful are even diminished. So what happens in Gaza? You see Israel, you see Hamas, you see Egypt, Qatar, Turkey, you see also Pakistan, United States, take its part. We already counted 7, and I'm not sure that this is the whole story. Mainly because of the Saudi and the Qataris. I don't know if we counted them or not, but the Saudis, the Qataris, and the Turks do not contribute to the stability of the project. Why? Because Qatar and Turkey want to preserve the government of Hamas. This is their goal in everything which they do. While Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, and I'm not sure about Egypt, they want to kick Hamas out altogether. This is their goal, to come in order to prevent the re-establishing of the Hamas state as it was until the beginning of the war. So when there are such deep differences between the parties which were chosen by the United States of America to take part in this project, the chance that this project will come to a successful end are very, very low.
Okay, so we saw President Trump go to Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt and sat down with all these countries, all the Arab, right, and they signed some documents. For show, huh?
Look at the timetable ahead. The time which will be needed in order to clean Gaza before building, to clean from all the ruins of the buildings and everything, will take years. 3 years, 5 years, I don't know, depends how many bulldozers will be sent in order to, kick out all the debris or all the what remained from the buildings. And now we have to take care of the tunnels as well. Some of them are booby-trapped. Who will do it and how long will it take? Then you have to start planning based on the empty and flat ground which you might have. Then implementing it and building it. I'm talking about something around 15 years. You know what? Between 10 and 15 years. This one on one side. How long will Trump be in office from now? He has 1 year for the midterm elections, and then two last years, which everybody hopes that will not be a lame duck. because of the midterm elections. Okay, so the maximum, we are talking about 3 years from today, actually, from November. Okay, so if you see the timetable of Trump on one side and the timetable of Gaza on the other side, the construction of Gaza with all the parties, and even let's us assume that they will all be committed to the same plan in order to not to come to any dispute and any different, and they cooperate with each other, one hand, and it will take 15 years,
Yeah.
10 years, while Trump lives in 4 years. Now, who will replace him? Nobody knows yet. What will be his idea or new ideas about Gaza? Nobody really knows. So to sit today and to predict that this plan, which Trump invented as a real estate person, this really what will be implemented until the end of the road, I have absolutely no idea. And I have a very bad feeling about this kind of assertion. So, as good as Trump can be with the Palestinians, with everybody, there is a limit. There's a limit to what he can do in order to continue the project of Gaza beyond the time which he will be in the White House. So this is another problem.
Now, among the 20 points that Trump put out in his ceasefire proposal, calls for disarmament of Hezbollah. They have not done that. And nobody's pressing that. I don't understand. Why is not, do you hear anybody saying disarm? I don't hear a word.
This is too obvious. Nobody with the right mind, from any country in the world, would risk his life in order to come to do some jobs in Gaza.
No.
There is a limit to what people are willing to sacrifice, even if they are getting paid for, as a contractor or something like this, or engineer, or somebody who operates a tractor or bugger or whatever. Okay, I don't see the lines of people who are lining up to go to Gaza in order to work, as long as Hamas is there with the weapons, threatens everybody, because, and don't forget that their goal of Hamas to remain in power and to reconstruct their Islamic State is totally against what Israel means. So
Right,
Israel
they're out
will
to
stand
destroy Israel.
idly.
Yes, they're
So
out to
Israel
destroy
will
Israel.
stand idly doing nothing when Israel sees that Hamas is taking Gaza over again. So there are some, I would say, obstacles in front of the Trump's plan to turn Gaza into a heaven. But people who don't have plans do not do anything. So we should bless him for having the plans. Yet these plans have to be modified to this situation in the Middle East.
Qatar has a defense pact with the United States. Saudi Arabia, as we speak now at the end of October in 2025, also wants a defense pact with the United States. And there's some suggestion that in return, they have to have some kind of a relationship with Israel. And yet I'm hearing that the Saudis say, no, that's not going to happen because you've got to promise a two-state solution. We want a Palestinian state. You hear the same thing?
Yes, I hear the same thing, and I am afraid that the Saudis, who well known that they don't really care about the Palestinians. The question is, what makes them say such a thing? And they do say it. I suspect that they are saying it because this idea of having Palestinian state is dictated on the Saudis by other parties in the Arab and the Islamic world. In Saudi Arabia, the kingdom or the ruling family or the royal family, since they want to remain in power vis-a-vis all the Muslims in the world, they field, they must cater to the willing and the intentions and the desires, I would even say, of the Arab and the Islamic world to see a Palestinian state, which will give the hell to Israel. This is the tool to use in order to make the hell for Israel. So, since Saudi Arabia sees on right, left, and center that everybody supports a Palestinian state in the Arab and the Islamic world, they cannot allow themselves to say something else because they will be ousted also. Add to this another thing which people are not aware of. Saudi Arabia, with all its abilities and many money and so forth, is afraid of one state in the world, which is Iran. Iran, especially after what Israel did to Iran in the 12 days in June, today they are like a wounded animal who would do anything in order to appease himself and run the place as they are used to. The Iranians are frightening the Saudis. The Saudis remember very well what happened at 4 o'clock in the morning on September 14, 2019, when a barrage of missiles and drones launched from Yemen, from Iraq, and from Iran hit two major sites of oil export which belong to Aramco, one in a place named Abqaiq, and the other is named Khurais. And this attack of the Iranians on the Saudi oil facilities paralyzed some 50% of the ability to export oil for like half a year. Big damage. And the Saudis remember it. The Saudis are too weak to answer to such an assault. A few months later, 4 months later, the United States under Trump got rid of the man who designed this attack, Qasem Soleimani. So this is why Saudi Arabia is afraid of Iran. Now, Iran wants a Palestinian state, even if it is run by the PLO. Why? Because Iran knows that Hamas will take the Palestinian state over, either by elections, as happened in January 2016, or by a coup d'etat, just like what happened in Gaza in June 2007. Hamas took over. Iran knows that if there is a Palestinian state, it will turn into a Hamastan, either by elections, as happened already, or by coup d'etat, as already happened. Therefore, Saudi Arabia demands to have a Palestinian state because they couldn't care less about Israel. From their point of view, Israel can go to hell. And if the Palestinians are kicking Israel to hell, it will ease on Saudi Arabia the burden of the problems.
So you don't see relations between Israel and the Saudis.
I do see problems, mainly because of this demand of the Saudis, and you can add to this something which the Minister of Smotrich said today, that if the Saudis want a Palestinian state, we will tell that, or that's what he said, unfortunately, that we will tell them, go ride your camels in the desert again. This is not an expression which is acceptable here in the Middle East. You can say, you can criticize people, you can criticize even leaders, but you cannot say things which are denigrating and humiliating as such a thing. Yes, this is something which should not have been said, especially not in the. You can say whatever you want in thousand ways, which will not be insulting or derogatory. But unfortunately, the minister used this undesirable language, and Israel might pay price for this because the Saudis have a very, very high image of themselves, and they act accordingly.
So don't expect
So,
the Saudis to join the Abraham Accords anytime soon.
no. There is a possibility that they will join.
Oh, yes?
Depends on how much will Trump pressure them in order to do it, and how much Israel creates an atmosphere which will enable it to happen. Yet, saying such things like the Minister of Finance who said about the Saudis and the camels does not contribute to the atmosphere of cooperation between Israel and Saudi Arabia.
Do you expect President Trump to call Bibi Netanyahu and tell him to get on the phone and apologize?
I think million Israelis already wrote this thing, even myself. So this is, look, you can dislike what they want, you can criticize what they say, but you don't resort to humiliation. And this is something which, unfortunately, the minister does know. And this again shows how much Israelis are aware of the culture of the Middle East. In order to survive in the Middle East, you must behave like, no, in Rome, act like a Roman. In Rome, speak like a Roman. You cannot come to Rome and speak like Libyan.
Well, okay, we'll see if anybody apologizes. We'll see. I wouldn't put it past Trump to press Bibi to say something. Well, we'll see.
Look, let's hope that the minister has enough advisors to tell him, hey, try to avoid it by saying ABC. But unfortunately, I'm not in charge of this
Right.
this issue, although I
But-
could help them a little bit.
Since we spoke last time, the Middle East has changed in that area. Syria is no longer Assad controlled, and I know you're an expert on Syria. Can you talk about what's happened now?
Well, today there were elections in Syria in the north. I think it was for the local authority. But the fact that the country starts to have elections means that the ruling group feels that they are safe enough to allow people to gather in the stadium. I think almost 100,000 people will be, and they will get along without me.
Right, and so, I mean, this used to be a country that was an adversary of Israel, but now Israel is this is a friend of Israel now. Am I correct?
Well, it depends how you define friends. We have issues with the Syrian regime of today. First of all, we all know that the Jolani, the current president or current ruler, he is the graduate of ISIS.
Yes.
And he didn't join ISIS in order to become a doctor or a physicist. Okay? And what he did actually put him in the Iraqi jail for at least 10 years, including some non-stop. So,
So he's not a new man? I mean, everybody's saying
To me-
he's a new man now, and that's behind him, and we have
yeah,
to
yeah. I hope.
right. What else? And of course, Hezbollah has been they're still active, but I don't think they're as strong as they used to be. Correct?
Look, whatever the Hezbollah, schematically speaking, Hezbollah, until 2 years ago, they had a stockpile of strategic weapons, which are missiles. Many of them are precise, which threatened Israel, you know, by atrocities which nobody really can imagine. But on the other side, they have also tactical weapons, Kalashnikov rifles, machine guns, RPG rockets, all these things, which were supposed to enable them to invade the Galilee and to capture Nahariya, Shlom, all the towns in the Israeli north, Nahariya, Shlomi, Kiryat Shmona, Rosh Pina, Metula, and the kibbutzim and the moshavim in between. Like 5-6 times compared to what happened in near Gaza. And this was supposed to be done by the tactical weapons. Israel bombed them, or bombed the storages of the missiles, and Israel succeeded to get rid of something between 80 and 90% of these missiles. So this is the strategic weapons which Israel succeeded to extract from the hands of Hezbollah, in a way or another. However, Israel did almost nothing, if at all, with the weapons, with the light weapons, which are in the hands of Hezbollah. These weapons are much more dangerous for the Lebanese. They can run to the streets with the weapons. Nobody can confront them. They can occupy the presidency building. They can occupy the parliament. They can occupy everyone and force their ideology on everyone, the Christians, the Shia, the others. So we have to be, Ashrei Adam Mefached Tamid. Blessed will be he who is afraid always. He's always afraid, always wary. And when it comes to some things which in the Middle East could be reversed, you have to be very careful not to fall into this kind of solutions which lead to nowhere.
Let me ask you this. The government of Israel still has not an official inquiry, a commission of inquiry, OCI, right? Or official commission of inquiry. And it was voted down. The government voted down not to have it. People of Israel want it. Bibi Netanyahu is saying he's going to run for re-election. In the minute and a half we have left, what do you think?
Look, the law in this country so far does not limit the time for a prime minister to stay in power. He can do whatever he likes. Of course, he has to be fitting from the physical point of view. He cannot, lose his balance when he is running the state. So definitely there is a possibility that Netanyahu will run again. Look, he's 76 years old. There are people who are starting to function when they are 76. So
Well,
this is the situation.
Right.
And I will not be surprised if he runs again and be elected
He said
again
he
with a
is.
big majority.
He said he is. He said he's running again.
Okay.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. You think he can put together a coalition?
I think so, because the part of the population which leans to the right gets bigger and bigger every 4 years
Yes.
because of birth rate. So he has definitely this. The only problem is if masses from the right will leave to the center, for example, because they also don't want Bibi.
Wow.
So
Mordechai
this is
Kedar.
where it's-
I listen. This is fast. This is very fast half hour. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you, Mordechai Kedar. He's an Israeli scholar of Arab culture and a lecturer at Bar-Ilan University. Thanks so much. Good to see you again.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
Tov.
Until next week. This is Stewart Ain. Have a good one.